Bookmap. Not sure if I am broadcasting in YouTube correctly. You guys hear me? Map. Okay, yeah, it looks good. Okay. All right, not sure if I am broadcasting in YouTube. Okay, good. We're set to go. All right. So as it says here, all markets, any market you guys want to look at. We're currently running a crypto competition though, so we're going to look at some Bitcoin and go through all sorts of things in Bitcoin, looking for opportunities for that competition. Anyway. A general disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, here's the competition here, and you can't register anymore. So if you're signed up, great. If not, we'll try to catch you next time. But great competition. We've had a string of these now. We're offering really great prizes: 1 year of Global Plus $1,000 USDT, and that's for first place. Second place is 500 and all 6 months of Global Plus, and then there's a third place of 3 months of Global Plus. So this is with or in conjunction with Tino from Traders Reality, we have a lot of his traders over trading in the competition. Let me show you the results here. It's pretty cool. So if we go to competition.bookmap.com, that'll take you to this page here, here's Tino. We can scroll down a little bit more. Here are the prizes. There's bonus prizes each day as well for Monday and for Tuesday and Wednesday, the different specifications are here, and then the leaderboard. Look at the leaderboard, guys. This is crazy stuff. 1 day, full day here, you can see that someone has racked up $250,000. Okay, that's first place. Second place is at 159. Third place is 122. So some people are killing it. No doubt about it. All right, so great stuff. Great competition. You have quite a bit of leverage to play with in here. So we see a really good field here. All right, so really enjoying it. All right, FAQs, resources, etc. for connecting. So it's all in here. Let's see what else. Our Blue Jacket competition started just yesterday, so you can win 3 months of Global and Global Plus. Global Plus with data as well. If you're interested in that one, you can use your phone here. This one's still open. You can register at any time during the month. But it's about creating content, worthy content that we will judge and decide on a winner. If you show trading from the chart in Bookmap, it will get twice the consideration. All right, so show trades taken, and it's a lot more helpful for other people. Okay, and then what else? Actually, I do have something more to go over, and that is we had an event yesterday, and we also had an event last Friday with Robbed, that I put a playlist together for you guys. We'll have another Bookmap trading tips and tricks today, okay, at market close. Yesterday we were very fortunate. We set up the event. Scott Pulcini came in, and it wasn't planned at all, and he partook in the event, and we've got a great event with Scott Pulcini going over his tips and tricks in here. Okay, so I'm going to put this playlist into the chat if you're interested, because that's just not only one is his tips and tricks and using replay mode in here. We have another one that Rob did from the Bookmap Academy. He has improve your trading using Bookmap's replay mode, and highly recommend that you check this out as well. He has this process that has helped him learn and streamline his trading skills and optimize them at a much quicker level. We also, and actually what precluded that and what got him started on that was another webinar we did with debriefing your trading in Bookmap's replay mode with Carmine Rosado. So we've got 3 different events in here. It's about 3 hours worth of material. You can learn a lot here. We're going to add some more in here as well. All right, so check it out. I'm going to put it into Discord here for you guys, as well as into YouTube. Okay. There we go. Well, that's weird the way it came in there. All right, whatever. And here you go over in YouTube as well. Great. Okay, thank you guys. And let's continue on. All right, so we're looking at the S&P E-mini here, and lost a little data here earlier in the day, but look at this pretty strong move to the downside here just after 9 o'clock a.m. East Coast time, and getting a rebound here after that move to the downside here. And let's take a look at this in here. So pretty strong sell volume to the downside, no question about that, but pretty strong buy volume coming back in. So this really kind of, it's not a low volume pullback. You know, it's pretty significant volume, so maybe it'll come up further. You know, this is why we can start to understand the context here about these buyers, these limit buy orders getting filled on the way down, you know, there's a lot of buyers in here. Where are they going to take it? Well, how about this high volume node? How about right here? This is what created that high volume node, this price action in here. Maybe we can come back up to here at the 9:30 cash open up here. So a few different things to take a look at here. All right. So anyway, let's jump over to the crypto competition as well, and take a look at crypto. Now, it too has had a huge drop here for the day. I don't have that data in here. However, yeah, we can take a quick look at maybe the Bookmap web version here and of crypto. Hold on. Yeah, see it here. Hold on a minute and I'll zoom out. And it's just loading here. It's at web.bookmap.com. And Binance Futures, yep, that's what I got. Okay. Anyway, you can see this huge, this is 1 month of data in here. And you can see this huge range in here, and we are below it. So it's testing that area right now. All right, so anyway, that's where we are, and let's look at the price in here. As you can see, that we're getting high liquidity filled on the way down here, down to 66,800, just below it, and yeah, 66,550, and then we've seen the bouncing around in here on the way back. Okay, so clearly we're in a bearish mode here. But you know, we'll have to take a look. We are back in the range right now, and what if, right? What if we see a lot of buyers come in up here? Okay, well, then we would look for a move back up to the top of the range and maybe these 347 coins up here, or maybe even a little higher to these coins up here, 339 up there. Okay, but we're going to keep an eye out for it. Now, so far, what we do see in here, though, is that this is a low volume pullback. Okay, so what do we do on low volume pullbacks? Okay, well, we go with the trend. So we know that there's a lot of sell volume in here that moved price lower. Let's take a look at where that volume transacted. Well, it's here, okay, and it's also mostly here. We are already above that volume. There's a little bit up here as well. Okay, so if we see a lot of buy volume come in here, we can look for that move higher. What we look for in the low volume pullback in this setup here, okay, one of the things to really consider is where did that volume initiate, that strong move to the downside here. Okay, if it's down at these ends in here, this is where those transactions are taking place, and it looks like a lot of people getting stopped out down here to me. A lot of liquidations in these areas in here. Okay, so if that is the case, and we get, even though it's a low volume pullback, we are above this sell volume. Okay, so we can look for buyers to take it back up to the top of the range here. All right, that would be the setup. Okay, now I opened up the trade control panel, as you guys can see, and I wanted to cover something about trading in here because just for connections, and if people are still struggling to connect here, you will need to first open up this trade control panel. That is, it's called the cross instruments trading here, okay? And then we need to select here from the drop down. It says none right now, but just below it, BTC USDT for the competition, and then we click on start. Now we'll break even, and then it says here you have activated the cross trading, and you will trade from BTC USD competition into the chart here. Okay, click OK, and we'll select from the drop down both, and we'll also click on this pin here so that this selection always remains open, and we'll select one coin here. Okay, so if we see an opportunity, we'll get involved and look for a transaction or a possible trade here. Okay, not seeing much at the moment, and that's that. Okay, let's actually add CVD in here. And you guys also have access to Market Pulse during this competition. So let's go over more of that in the webinar. You also have access to the trading journal. If you go to journal.bookmap.com, you can see it here, and then you will click on the journals here, and then select the one for the competition. All right. So I'm up a measly $4.79 from a few transactions yesterday. This is they're very, very small transactions for testing in here. Anyway, and we had a live position yesterday, and we covered it actually in the tips and tricks, trading tips and tricks webinar at 4 p.m. So hold on a minute here. Let me see. There's a question from Alois. You watched this video, even if you're part of this part of the game this time. Oh, okay. So yeah, you really like Scott's Market Pulse with the 1 hour setting. Well, let's do it. Let's open up our configure add-ons here. We're going to scroll down to or find Market Pulse in here, and here it is. Okay, and then we have liquidation pressures in here. You can also look at liquidation pressures. Okay, let's actually open that one up, and we're going to look at volume pressure imbalance for it. Oops, I'm sorry. well, we'll just look at volume, pressure, and balance right now. And then let's we'll close it for now, and we'll go right click on it, go to the settings here, and then we'll put in the training period here of 1 hour. Okay. And the pullback or half-life period here of 10 seconds. Okay. And then here it is in the subchart here. Okay. It's we have CVD as well. Let me just deselect CVD for the moment. Okay, now the cool thing about this market pulse that I think you guys already know is we're looking for the extremes, and you can see where it's kind of a pale red and a pale green, but above the 70% threshold, these little white lines in here, it will become green above it on the buy side, and it will become red below it on the sell side. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, is the extremes. So how's it looking? Well, clearly in this downtrend here, we're seeing the extremes, and we're getting some pretty nice pullbacks actually in some of those extremes, at least these two down here. All right, so that's what we see at the moment. And then things have kind of dried up here now. Not really seeing too much action whatsoever. After all of this big move to the downside here. I think I can add some more historical data here. So actually, let's do that. Yep, right down here. I'm going to add a couple hours in here. Click apply. Okay, that might smooth this out a little bit more here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. Another thing, a tip and trick here that we covered this yesterday, but these markets here in crypto, they usually behave quite well when they transact with high liquidity. You usually, I mean, we can see that it traded into a little bit below it, but we got a bounce. Traded into it a little bit below it, we got a bounce. Okay, so this one here, the high liquidity is in this area here. It did not reach the 66,500, but we do see the bounce away from it. Okay. Let's see, Alois, he gets the problem with the market pulse, the new version doesn't plot the entire data set. No, I mean you can add the historical. Yeah, we did that by design because sometimes it can be pretty heavy, so you can control that, Alois. Yeah, that was the goal. People were loading a lot of different look back periods for market pulse. That's why. Yeah. All right. So let's see, and let's see. We're at the bottom of this little range in here, and now the way that with this crypto competition, I'm looking at $20 per tick here, but maybe you're looking at quite a bit less. In this competition, you've got to basically clear $100 to get to break even due to the spread. Okay, so that means we got to go like 4 or 5 ticks in here, and like 5 ticks. That is it worth it to take like a range bound trade in here from maybe down here on up to here? It's not really, in my opinion. It's better to kind of wait for something a little bit bigger, because let's suppose that you get caught in that, and you're gonna have like 100. You're already down $100 with just one contract. So we are going to look for kind of bigger moves in here, basically. Okay, because let's suppose you got in here roughly, then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd be at break even right now, which is almost top of the range, right? So is it worth it? You know, now a bigger range, yeah, absolutely, it's worth it. It makes it a little more challenging to cover live trading in this competition, that's for sure. It takes away that scalping ability. Because we could nail the trade, but we'll still be at a loss due to the commission, or break even, basically. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions. Let's jump back to that S&P and see what's going on. And I'm going to take the stops and icebergs off the chart, but we have it in the subchart here. Oh, there's a nice move. Okay, there's a nice move in the S&P. All right, so the S&P now has traded up into and through 51, and the figure here at 50, so it's through it, and it's on pretty strong volume. Okay, now it's only gone like a point and a half, right? So it could fail and come back in the range here. The volume looks good, but let's take a look at the bigger picture here. All right, so we're above also the this kind of point of control in here, our high volume node, and we're on strong volume. Okay, so yeah, let's see if we can continue on up. Right, so right now we've pulled back right to where we broke out from, and we're seeing a little bit of selling. Okay, but that's it. Now a couple scenarios in here. Nothing's really clear right now. It is a low volume pullback. All right, so but this is not much of a move, but it is strong volume. Okay, that's why in our flag pattern, our continuation pattern, we're looking for a strong move and strong volume together. Okay, because what if the scenario it unfolds and we get strong selling all of a sudden here? Well, they're going to take it right down to the bottom of the range, right? That's what we want to avoid. So that's why we look for something that pulls away on the market on strong volume, and then we look for a mild pullback on low sell volume, and then the continuation. Look for the order book in here to support it, and right now we're not really getting much of that either. And let's see, maybe they'll get a bit more strong volume at the top of this range here. That maybe now we really have to be kind of hit over the head for a position in something like that. It really needs to show itself, and we need to see the order book stacked on the bid, seeing them pulling on the offer, and when we have those really strong confluences, then we can look for this continuation move to this breakout. There it is, a little bit on the bid, a little bit up here. Let's see the continuation. There we go. Okay, so we're getting it. Now you see like how, and it's kind of a feel for it. You're looking for it. You're looking for that scenario, and then you kind of have to just jump right in. And now, how would I manage this one? I'll tell you. I would probably be stopped out already on this because I just don't believe in this move here. Right? I'll play it. And I'm still looking for the continuation move on up, but I'm not going to give my money back on this and get caught and then have sellers come in like in that previous scenario and then take it down to the other side of the range. Okay, so that would free me up. This is kind of another tip and trick. Frees me up mentally. Okay, if I took this, I would have already been stopped out at break even. Now this is a funny thing. Scott yesterday had mentioned something about this, and he said that he hates that. He just hates the stop out at break even like that. And it makes sense. He says, I don't want to impose my will on a random marketplace. Okay, all of that is true. It depends on what you're looking for, though. We're looking for this move here to work immediately. If it doesn't, then we're not going to be open to it moving against us. Okay, so we would just get back in again if we see the setup unfold again, right? So that's the way that I've been covering it in here, and you'll have to find out what works best for you. Okay, so that's it really depends. Scott likes it that way. I like it this way, and Scott's also kind of zoomed out a little bit more, and I'm more kind of zoomed in and scalping. Okay, Scott will be looking for something like this, and he says it should work. My stop should be down in here, in this area, in here, and that's that. Either it works or it doesn't. I'm up here saying that this should work, and if it doesn't, or I'm sorry, maybe it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. If it doesn't, then I'm out. I don't want to take the risk. This should work. Okay, so two different ways of looking at it, and I do not want to argue with Scott. I just want to say that there's different ways of trading, clearly, and you have to find out what works best for you. All right, I think that makes the point. Stephen, Stephen, you said or sent something really interesting in here. Really great trade. I'm gonna bring this up here. Hold on a minute. You put it in the all markets room, I believe. Yeah. So. Is this it? Yeah. This is it. Great stuff. You actually took the same trade that we did yesterday during this webinar. So this was the trade that we were actually we took it in here, right in here. You took it down here though. So really great entry, and I want to cover this in here because this was we've talked about this many times. Here's our impulse move, right? Here's our pullback, and we're looking on low volume. Now this is lower volume compared to this buy volume in here. Okay, your entry here is here, but you don't see those buyers come in yet. Okay, so there's two different ways to trade this and the risk here, right? So the risk that you're taking is that more sellers might come in right here and move this lower. Okay, where do you put your stop on something like that? Our entry yesterday was up in here, and the risk is that this would happen, and it started to do it actually. We're like, oh boy, we're in for a squeeze potentially here if we get down below this area. There's two different ways. I mean, we're covering two different ways to slice and dice it here. With your entry here on the pullback, you're getting filled by the sellers, okay, with a limit, or maybe it might have been a market, but doesn't matter. It looks like a small little limit in there, and you got filled. You nailed it. Really great on the pullback, and you had a great trade. The risk though is, as we had mentioned, well, maybe it continues on down, right? We don't know where it might pick up. However, I really like it. I really like the setup because of the here's the strong move, right? I know it's kind of messy in here, but I'll show it in another in a live chart, and maybe we can find an opportunity as well. But here's your strong move. Okay, here's your mild pullback, okay, or lower volume pullback here. Okay, very low in here, in fact, you know, looks even better right where you got in. So you had a really great entry here. Now, what I like about this entry and your trade management here is that this is the zone that we're looking at here. Okay, and you're getting, you know that there's likely going to be a pullback here. Okay, but you are still looking for a pullback within the strong move. So you're still with the strength. You're just getting in on the pullback. Okay, I'm waiting for more strength to show its hand that it wants to continue. Okay, but your risk here is pretty limited, and it might, at best, what I really like about it here, so we'll cover this more, is that, as we know, this might turn into a range bound trade. It kind of did for a bit, actually, but you know, it might go up here, come back down, come back up, come back down, you know, etc. So at best, it might just come back up to the top of the range here, or close to it, and you can get out some, right, and reduce some risk. You can look for another pullback, you know, or, you know, in some of these areas, and look for the continuation, but you're still going with the buyers here. Strong move. Yeah, that's really great. That's you know, something that we'll cover more and more, because this is another way of looking at it, and there is risk about it, no question, but you're only looking for, you're reducing your risk for maybe just down below here. You know, so your stop would be down here someplace, and it's not much, right? And if you do catch it, you're going with the buyers in here and that strength. So it's likely that you'll get another retest back up here. It's likely, right? So you have reduced risk in that sense. It's just that you don't have really much confirmation in the trade. All right, so anyway, it was well worth covering that. It was really great trade, and I really liked it. So kudos to you, Stephen, on that one. All right, let's see. All right, so what have we seen so far? Not much in this crypto market. It's just turned into this really small range in here. Okay, here we go. We got maybe potentially something now. So look at this move here, and look at the retest. Okay, now we're still, you can see it in here actually. This is very similar. This is just not a really strong move, but the buyers are in control here, right? Now, are we going to get a breakout here? All right, well, let's do this. We're looking for a breakout, right? Okay, so, but let's go through the pullback now, because this is our range in here, and we're going to look for a pullback maybe to here. Okay, and so we'll put our limit by there. In fact, let me cancel that for a minute here. I'm going to put some brackets on it, and these are ticks. So I want to maybe make it 20 and something like that. All right, and we'll look for our pullback here. Okay. All right, maybe it goes back even further. We'll see, right? I mean, maybe we can get down at the bottom of the range in here. We'll see. All right, does that make sense, everybody? What we're looking for in here, Stan, what do I consider good trading for BTC USD? Well, I mean, you usually see you know, the volume pick up around this cash open as well. okay, with New York. Okay, here's another kind of a not necessarily a pitfall of this, but might leave us hanging here. We're looking for a pullback and we might miss it. We would have to enter up here then if we see all of that aggressive buying coming in here, and we don't, but that would be one of the risks as well. All right, let's make our volume dots a little bit bigger. Okay, so yeah, we're getting our volume up here. A little bit. Let's zoom out a little bit more here, because where is all this volume? Who's in control? I mean, clearly in here, the sellers have been in control from way up here where this volume and this volume dot came in. Okay, so this is who's driving the market right now. It is clearly sellers. Okay, we're just noting here that there might be a potential move back up to the top of here, right? Yeah, and we're missing it here. Anyway, I'm fine with that. That's what we wanted. We're looking for a pullback to this buying here, and we're looking for this potential move higher here. Yeah, I mean, we've got the flexibility in crypto. I mean, we can get in with I've got like 150 lots in here, yeah, we can look for something. Let's see here. I'm still looking for a pullback on this small range. Okay, makes sense in here. I just want to be clear. This was the range that we're looking for, and the buyers are in control on this very small range in here. Okay, and then this is what clued us in. What for this potential breakout? This is what clued us in here. Sellers down here, a retest, and then we see very little selling, actually a little bit of buying here, and then we get a buying cluster here. Okay, great. We're looking for at least the top of the range, and we kind of missed that. So then we're looking for a pullback and then continuation here, and it left us kind of hanging here. So we missed it. Anyway, what I wanted to clarify in here was this is our trading range, and in this range in here, the buyers are in control. Okay, we zoom out. In this bigger picture, the sellers are clearly in control, and very consistent, strong volume through a very strong big move to the downside. All right. Let's see if there's any questions. No questions. Okay. But anyway, yeah, that was the setup on this small time frame. We can still look for another pullback in here, and that would be here at this point, right? Okay, so pull back to where it broke out from. But I am not going to chase it here. Let's also take a look here at the pullback. And is this something we want to risk on? And I would say, like, to be honest, I'm not really sure if I do want to risk on this. Here's why. Because, in fact, I'm going to use my mouse wheel here as a button, and we'll click on this, cancel it. Here's why. We went on a pullback. We're looking for, first off, strong volume and a strong move. Okay, not like strong volume here and then nothing up here and some sellers here. In fact, that we look for the opposite. We look for selling to come back in and try to trade it back into the range here. Okay, but and again, we're going to avoid it. We're going to miss it because this is not enough. Is putting on risk to just get to break even after the commissions. Full V reversal on the ES. Let's take a look. Yeah, no, we had a double bottom in here. Kind of a triple bottom. Well, I mean, I know what you mean, Alois. I mean, at some point, it typically is some sort of like little double bottom, and even this in here like looks like the V, but you can see like you know it tested here multiple times, so it's like a quadruple bottom or whatever. But yeah, I mean now it looks like it's a V right here, right? So yeah, no worries. I mean, I know what you mean. But what I think is important to note is these kinds of retest, even on this small time frame in here, you can see the same things for a reversal. Okay, here's the sellers hitting into high liquidity. Where are the sellers down here? And what about the buyers? Where are the buyers in here? So we have selling over here, which we can clearly see. Okay, you see it here and here, right? We see it here and here. And then now we're starting to see some buyers here. A little cluster. Okay, another cluster of selling. But there's exhaustion here basically. All right, so what we're looking for now is up here a cluster of buying around this 35.50. Okay, and we do get it. Okay, now they're breaking a range. Okay, well, we'll probably get a pullback to about here, 35.25. Yeah, just about. And then we're looking for a retest back up here and more buyers, and then the continuation. Okay, so even on this small time frame in here, which is these are like 5 seconds here, this is a reversal pattern though. Okay, this is, you can even probably say this is like a shoulder, head and shoulder if this was just maybe one tick lower. Otherwise you'd say it's a triple bottom or something, right? Just note how fractal these markets are. Okay, and that's on that little V right there. Okay, now looking at a bigger double bottom in here, well, we have high liquidity filled, sellers, buyers come back in here, okay, and move it back up to where sellers dropped it. This is a low volume pullback at that point. So we see the sellers take it back down, okay, down to where these buyers broke out from here. We get a little bounce and then one more test of the low here. Okay, funny enough, they're not able to take it into the lower liquidity in here. And now let's take a look at this reversal pattern in here. And I don't see anything yet. Okay, I see sellers, I see that high liquidity. It's just our drawings. Sellers, I see that high liquidity. I see some buyers, but it's still low volume pullback. I see the more selling coming back in. This is where we start to see something interesting. Okay, back up here. Okay, and we do get the pullback here to this, and then we get the continuation here. Right. So now let's just take a look at this in here. Look at the volume in here. Okay, it does taper off a little bit up here, but there's still transactions up here, okay, into high liquidity up here. And then look at the pullback. Now the pullback's got a little bit of volume on it as well, but there's still more buyers in here than sellers. Okay, so we do see the buyers come rolling back in and then trade into and through that liquidity. Low volume pullback again, and more buyers. Okay, so we do see the reversal also on this time frame, but it really starts kind of down here, more or less. But it is this transition and flow from sell side to buy side that we want to look for. Now we can see it in the volume bars, but you can they're delta bars down here. But I also have it in the footprint here. Okay, we were demoing footprint on Friday, or maybe it was last Tuesday, a week ago. And we can just read the delta in here. The delta is the top number, and I think overall is let's see, what is it? What do we have here? On a minute. Sum of all trades. Yeah. Okay. So we can look at the delta here, like here, negative 1388, negative 900 something, or yeah, 8 or 900, 80, negative 84. Okay, starting to taper down. Look at the buyers. Now it's plus 942. Now it's negative. Now it's negative. Now it's negative. Now it's plus. Now we see even more buy volume in here. And now that we see that transition from sell side to buy side in the footprint delta. Okay. Now we also see it in here. If we don't show the bars, we can also see it here in the graphical bars. Sell side, okay, a little bit of buying. Sell side, buying. All right, now we want to relate that with the volume dots here within the price structure, and that's where we can look for a potential setup in here. Okay, same thing we're looking for in crypto here. Now let's take a look. Did we get filled? No. And would we want to get filled in here? No, I don't want to get filled in here. We're looking for the breakout, pullback, and continuation. We noted up in here, it's not strong, consistent buying all the way through. We see that selling coming in. Okay, so that's when we canceled the order. Make sense? Come on, you guys over in Discord, to make sense. Does that are you following along here? I mean, this stuff is like it's good. It's again and again. Like Rob, your setup. Stephen, your setup. We're going through the details in your setups in the live market here. So you look at the selling coming in now. So these buyers who bought this are going to be feeling the squeeze potentially here. And we're going to look at fractal markets in here too, like this now in terms of fractals. Okay, well, this is where the buyers took it here on this small move, and it's been nothing but range bound. Okay, but look at the selling now. All right, so in fact, let's do it. We'll take a position here. Right. We'll put in our limit sell there, and we're looking for it to trade back into this range here. Right? And so this would be our, well, I have brackets on, so I'm going to cancel this order here, and then where are my brackets? All right, and we'll move our stops around, take profits. Okay, and I'm going to move it down here to kind of by the swing low here. And then I'll move this stop here back down just above the this little range here. Okay, so what are we looking for in here, right? We're looking for a move. The first move would be down to the bottom of this range in here. Okay, because we're looking for this to fail. We're seeing the volume come in after trying, and we're seeing the volume come in, but we're going with the bigger picture move to the downside. And let's see if we can get a move. Heck, we should have put 100 on, right? We can take half off. That's possible. We can do that. We can click on this here, and we can scroll down and go with 0.5 here and move it down to the bottom of this range. And then we can add in OCO in here for the other 0.5. Okay. Here. Okay. And then I will place my hold down the shift key, and then I will left click up here, and then I'll just left click down here to where we were earlier, somewhere around there. Okay, so now I have my OCOs in here. Okay, and I'm completely protected, and I can scale out a little bit. Okay, it's getting kind of interesting here. We'll see. We got the order book behind us here. Look at all this liquidity here behind us. So now we're just looking for those sellers to follow through to bottom of the range here. Let's look at our market pulse as well. Do we get anything on market pulse? Well, market pulse has been pretty quiet here, pretty quiet. Alois, I don't know. Maybe it's working pretty well on the 1 hour for the ES, but I'm not really seeing it here. I'm going to go back to like 5 minutes and see if we get something more interesting here. Well, you might even take it down lower than 5. Okay, look at the book. See how we have the book on our side here? See how they're pressing behind this? Okay, so and our take profit or partial profit is at the bottom of this volume node here. Okay, and that makes sense. Right, we can trade here in this auction, and then it tapers off. Right, so there's less trading down here in the auction. Okay, so we're looking for taking some off here in the majority of the range here. What looked great during the webinar, Alois? Oh, the market pulse you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I mean this is pretty wild in here. You're right. I mean, like maybe we should smooth that out a little bit. Maybe an hour is a bit too much, but you know, this I'm amazed how well this works in here. You know, look at these swings and then look at the price action where it is in relationship of the ranges, etc. And boy, it gives some pretty nice insight here in Confluence. Okay. And this is our move to the downside, and we just had an extreme move, and now we're getting a little bit of a pullback, right? So it makes good sense. I mean, these extreme volume pressures are usually followed by a kind of a dry period or a rest. This is like no different in concept as the way that people are using Ticky, etc. Market internals. Are you looking for that extreme pressure, right? Like it's over 1,000, and the market is just hitting hard, and and then it needs to take a break. It can only be like it's sprinting. It's really pushing. A lot of transactions are unfolding, and then it just needs to take a break. So that's when you see a bit of a pullback or so. Very similar to this right in here. Okay, so let's see if we can get filled here. There we go. So we're out half our position, and we have the other half on here. Okay, now do we want to move our stop to break even in this point here? Now this is where I would agree with Scott. Yeah, I don't know about that. The likelihood of coming back up to the top of this range is probably pretty strong. So do I want to get stopped out in that? No, I want to go with the bigger flow to the downside. Now I think, let's see if we can, I think we've got the break even. I don't know if the break even's working here or not. Hold on a minute. No, it's not. It's unfortunate. I mean, we know our position is up here. This is where we entered. Okay, so we have that little line in here at right at the figure at 67,000. Right. So anyway, it's how many ticks does it come down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and then or 7 for us. So then we're looking for on the upside here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be our break even on the overall position at the top of this range here. And is that something we want to do? I don't know. I'd kind of like to give it a little bit of breathing room here. So I will have an overall loss by 3 ticks if it comes up here. Okay, where would break even be? It would probably be actually somewhere around here with the commissions, somewhere in here, I imagine. So it would look like this here. And is that a good place? So actually, it doesn't bother me too much. This is where the selling came in that we saw. Yeah, that doesn't bother me. I'll leave that there. I'll look for another setup if we get stopped out here. Okay. All right, no other questions? Let's take a look at this kind of bigger picture in here. We already talked about this selling and being above it on the buy side. But overall trend is to the downside. And then we talked about this little kind of structural range in here and how we're looking for this breakout and then a pullback to get involved into it. And then did we want to get involved here? And we said no, we don't see the consistent strong buying nor a really strong move here. So we shied away from that. And then we saw the opposite here. Well, if we don't get the buyers in here and we're getting sellers here, and we did, we're looking for them to take it back into either point of control or bottom of the range here. And that's what we managed, and that's what we did. Now, this here and this concept of what we just covered here in real time works on higher time frames. The same concept in here, like you'd look for the pullback in this range in here, for example. And did you get the buyers up in here? No. It broke out. You see sellers up here, and you see sellers come back into the range here. Okay, great. So you look for the bottom of the range in here, take some off, and look for continuation. Okay, because the sellers are dominating the move. Right? So again, it's fractal. Right? So that's what we're looking for in here. And as we covered, like in Steven's example, we are still going with the bigger trend for the day. Okay, and that's a good thing. There we go. Now note how we're getting our continuation now. Right, we got our bounce here, the bottom of this range, and we didn't see a lot of selling here, right? We got filled, but it sold off hard enough, and then here we can turn our market pulse on. Actually, I didn't have it on. Let's go with 70% here. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now we'll hear it. And that's our confluence. This is kind of our speed gauge here, right? We have also pace of tape. We can open that one up. We can also look at the imbalance in the order book. Now let's do that. We'll look at pace of tape. Okay, and we're also going to look at order book pressure imbalance here, which we already have selected, right? But we're going to look at BTC USD and try that one. Okay, nothing to do, right? We're just waiting for the trade to work out. It's starting to trend, and our job is to manage it and understand what's going on within the trade. Okay, this is not a trade recommendation, guys. It does say real down here, but this is for the, it says BTC USDT competition here is the target instrument. It's part of the competition. All right, and the competition, if you want the insights on that, I can put this into the chat for you, but it's at competition.bookmap.com. It was free and open to all, but the registration ended yesterday, okay, at 8 a.m. East Coast time or 12 p.m. UTC. All right, let's go to pace of tape and see how that's going. I also had this, let's bump this back up. Looking for a pretty big move on pace of tape. We can turn that on as well. And you can see I have it on 3 minutes and 10 seconds here. All right, and then order book pressure and balance this one. Let's go to that one. And let's actually that up a little bit more. And you can see this one training period is 2 minutes. So I've got kind of a potpourri, but we'll see what happens here. Okay, and then in the subchart, we're just going to keep it on volume pressure and balance. Okay, there's pace of tape starting to pick up. So this is like the speedometer here. You guys can hear that in on YouTube. I know you can. But note that it's both buying and selling in here, right? So the tape is moving here. So there's a lot of transactions. Now we're getting the imbalance here. You can hear the other one, volume pressure imbalance, which is a little too high. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see how this is really interesting here. Pace of tape and the order flurry that started to unfold. Then we had the volume imbalance. Interesting move into high liquidity, and look at the buying come springing out of that. All right, so you know, how do we want to manage it at this point, right? Do we want to take a full stop? We moved our stop down. Do we want to take that? No, it's just up to the top of this range here. Let's see if, and it's not a whole lot of volume there. Okay, so I'm looking for this to fail up here and then come back down into this range. It's starting to establish a new range. Now, we don't know. There might be buy volume that just comes in here and sweeps the book to the top of this range here. Okay, if it does, then we get stopped out. Okay, but this was our setup here. Now the question is, are we like looking right in the eye of like tons of buyers coming in? Right? Do we want to get stopped out of that, or do we want to just take our profit right now? Okay, these are bigger questions. And what's the question is this: what is the likelihood of this buying in here to continue higher? Okay, so yeah, we're going to kind of stick to our guns right now. Okay, I mean, it's still more selling than there is buying, right? And it's just traded to the top of this range, or you know, back into the mean here. Okay? If it comes back up here, fine. We're out. On our second half, we'll take half of it off, or we'll take a small loss. Okay, we should have an overall winner though. You like the indicator sounds? Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a great tool. It really is. Okay, looks like we're going to get stopped out. So it's trading to our price level right now. Once that's touched and transacts, then our stop order will ignite or unpack into a market buy. Now, what did you guys note in here? Like, there's something that did happen in here that I was kind of surprised at. That such a strong reaction down here. But what do you think it is? And we've talked about these crypto markets and how they react to things. Any idea? Bueller? It feels like that today, guys. I don't know what it is. It's everyone's just kind of in a lull. Come on, you guys, let's get some energy. Have another cup of coffee. Let's go. Everyone's waiting for CPI tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can trade the ranges. One of the things here in crypto that we discussed, like we're not going to take it here. We're stopped out on the rest, right? And actually, for a small loss in here. It was kind of truly break even, maybe a little less. Uh, so um, that was we kind of judged it right in here. Okay, so that overall break even was just about there. You're getting kicked by BTC. I know. These are tough markets. And look at this move in here. This is what happened. And we know that these markets respond. You can like very easily and quickly backtest this in here. Look at where there's reaction to high liquidity. Okay, and you see it all the time. We mentioned it yesterday. Uh, this is what's important to when you start to look at Bookmap. One of the nice things is you have to have a little bit of data in here, but note here, look how it traded into high liquidity here and here, and we get a reaction, right? Here also traded a little bit through it, but we got a reaction. Okay, and here we got a reaction up to here. Got a reaction too to the downside. They really behave nicely with high liquidity. So let's take a look here. Traded down into these levels here and here. Okay. Now, what happened to us? It traded down into this high liquidity in here, and then it sprang right out of that really quickly. Bueller, Shark Blue. I rarely use that one, but because I've heard it, we've all heard it so many times, and it really, that was what 85 or 86 when that film came out. So it also dates you pretty quickly. Great film, no question. Heck, I should test Scott on that one. All right, guys. So now take a look at it here. High liquidity up here, right? Then did we trade into it? Well, let's see if we trade into it here. Okay, because then if that is what we're noticing, now let's look at some of these ranges in here. Okay, so that might be an opportunity then for going short, right? Now we need to look for our setup though. Okay, we need more than just high liquidity in here. Okay, but that is a good thing to look at in here is, did that high liquidity transact, and then what was the reaction after it? So in this case, the reaction was very clearly buyers back up above it here, and then you get the squeeze here to the upside. Okay, so let's see if we get it here. Yeah, it was a nice push to the downside, that for sure. And it was really great to see this order book on our side. God, that's one thing I love about crypto is you start to see all of this in here, like your book all stacked on to your side here. It's like, oh, that's just like wind at our backs, yeah, nice stuff. These different markets trade differently, Alan. That's what exactly, like, take a step back, like the same things that you look at there's kind of a rhythm or a rhyme, but it's not the same. Okay, these different markets just trade differently. I mean, try trading the same thing over in gold. Just jumping into the market like that is irresponsible. And you should step back and get a bigger picture of how's it working. What's what's the weather like? And get a feel. Guys, let's I think you know, we're going to try to do another trading tips and tricks this afternoon. And we're, you know, blessed to have like Scott yesterday. I'm going to try to get Robert Rother today at 4 p.m. All right, so we can go through tips and tricks, and you know, he trades a lot from the bookmap chart, and he loves it. So we can go over some tips and tricks there. We went over a bunch in this little position in here as well. As you can see, we broke down. We had one lot on here, but we broke it down into half, took half off, and then put another OCO order in that if we got hit, then it would take us out. And we'd be flat, and that's exactly what it did. Okay, so you know, some it's all possible in here, and you know, you've got the you got the tools. It just got to be maybe a little creative in here. What is it? I have 0.02 left over. Let's just cancel this here. That's odd. Understand that. Yeah, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about, as that trading these markets will make you a better trader. Absolutely. I think it's a tricky market, but you know, others like you know, took a look at it. Like slowdown was a good example. Steven was a good example last time when we had it for the Bookmap Academy. What they did was like, okay, well, let's zoom out here because there's a lot going on the smaller time frames. Looking at the ES, we could trade those smaller time frames pretty nicely and look for scalps, and it behaved really well. But crypto, it behaved very differently. So you know, but market flow or order flow is the same on different fractal time scales. So that's what we want to take a look at and start to understand. So where does it better fit the way that you trade? Okay, so Alan, your momentum moves that you're looking at, they're here. There's no question about it. What look at some of these moves. Maybe this market pulse tool is good for you, but you know, start to study some of the moves, like how do they unfold, and let's take a look. Okay, let's look at this one here. Okay, so we've got this range bound. Let me clear the drawings again. Okay, so we've got this range bound environment in here. Okay, high liquidity up in here. Actually doesn't transact, but it trades up to it. We got a little bit of spoof in here, and we see selling coming in into high liquidity and through it. Okay, and then we're looking for this high liquidity here. Now I would look for a bounce here, to be honest. And yeah, we do get a little bit of a bounce, not much. And then it just really starts to pick up. Okay, so how do you look for this? Well, look at this volume in here. It's telling you something, right? Oh boy, our market pulse is going crazy. So let's see if we seeing that selling come back in here. How's the ES doing? Is it selling off? No, not yet. All right. We can take another swing at it here. And that's crazy. Crazy market pulse pace of tape here, right? And now, pretty bad. Actually, I should have put a pullback in here. Well, we can still do that. Look for a pullback up into here, right? But this is what I'm looking for in here. Like this was there's still more sell volume in here, and this was kind of a squeeze back up to the top of this range here. Remember, we had our stop up here earlier, and Scott would laugh at me and say like, "Ha, you see, why did you put your stop at break even or just above break even? You know, and you get stopped out. You should have been still in this." But what did we do? We got back in, right? and we're back in the same position we were when we got stopped out, and we also have another position up here. Okay, so we're looking for a pullback, and then we're looking for a continuation. Now, Alan, look for some of these moves, and then look for a pullback, and then that continuation move. I think you'll find it helpful, right? So we just heard the market pulse going crazy on pace of tape to this to the downside here, and that's what kind of keyed us in. We were looking for it up here too. We just thought that this high liquidity would trade, and then sellers would come in afterwards. It never even traded. Very, very little. You can see traded 2.5 coins or so, and then we don't see where the buyers now, right? So sellers starting to come in. Now the question is though, like this buying in here compared to this selling in here, you know, like maybe it just trades down to here and we get buyers again, right? That we don't know, but we're looking for going with the bigger trend, and then looking for a continuation here on that buy side. I'm sorry, on the sell side, right down to the lows. Right, this looked more like kind of stop hunt or squeeze, and then and we're looking for the sellers to come back in. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, anyway, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'll try to get Robert Rother for this afternoon. If not, we're going to hold the tips and tricks later anyway, and we're going to go through our replay mode and go through many little trading tips in here for your trade management. All right. So yeah, we'll see you at 4 p.m. And hopefully we'll have an expert trader with Robert Rother alongside us. Okay, thanks for coming, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.